Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, gratefully recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment. By all means, share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. Other than that, guys, happy Easter, everybody. What an absolutely beautiful day. As I was talking about last night, I was invited to go spend the day with family. Well, I was going to visit all of my brothers today, one of which ended up not feeling well and went back to bed this morning. So I ended up letting him be, and I went to one of my other brothers. Extended family was throwing a big Easter celebration. My other brother and his wife and kids were there. My oldest brother was there with his children, other than his son, who's down in Miami. And yeah, it was probably 40 people in the house, kids running around, Easter egg hunts, pork tenderloin, and about 19, and ham, and about 19 different sides, all sorts of great desserts, and just laughing all day. Literally, my face hurt from smiling. Leaving there. Beautiful, like absolutely beautiful day, and that's one of the absolute beautiful gifts to recovery, guys, is being able to live your best life and make amends with family, being back in touch with family. For myself, I always ran from family when I started screwing up out of embarrassment. Years ago, I started to involve them in some of my nonsense, and I hated that, so I just would run from them and deprive myself of my beautiful nieces and nephews, my brothers, my sister. Today that's not the case. I get to go see them regularly, on particularly. Not only that, guys, but just being able to celebrate holidays. Today was an absolutely beautiful day. Get up, went to the gym, had a fantastic workout. Talked about 18 different people in recovery, because just wishing people happy Easter and laughing and joking with friends, my extended, my second family, and then spending time with my family. Like, what? I can't imagine a better day. It was absolutely beautiful, guys. And, part of the reason I get there is I go to meetings when, back when I used to think I was cursed and I did the craziest story, nobody would ever accept me. I go to meetings and I speak honestly. And I find that these people are just like I am. I identify with them, and we end up being good friends, over the shared struggles. And that's one of the beauties of going to meetings, and that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. You go to meetings to, find out other people have been through the same stuff you have. You're not isolated, you're not alone, you're not that unique, and that there's hope for you, just like there's hope for me, and just like there's hope for everybody else. So, that's what we're going to talk about. The Just for Today NA Meditation reading is titled Identification. Identification. Someone finally knew the crazy thoughts that I had and the crazy things that I had done. Addicts often feel terminally unique. We're sure that no one used drugs like we did or had to do the things that we had to do to get them. Feeling that no one really understands us can keep us from recovery for many years. It happened with me. But once we come to the rooms of recovery, we begin to lose that feeling of being the worst or the craziest. We listen as members share their experiences. We discover that others had walked the same twisted path that we've walked and still have been able to find recovery. As we begin to believe that recovery is available to us too, as we do, we begin to believe that recovery is available to us too. Sorry, guys, my writing's terrible. As we progress in our own recovery, sometimes our thinking is still insane. However, we find that when we share the hard time we may be having, others identify, sharing how they have dealt with such difficulties. No matter how troubled our thinking seems, we find hope when others relate to us, passing along the solutions that they have found. We begin to believe that we can survive whatever we're going through to continue on in our recovery. The gift of recovery is that we learn that we are not alone. We can get clean and stay clean by sharing our experience, our strength, and even our crazy thinking with other members. When we do, we open ourselves to the solutions others have found to the challenges we face. And the affirmation is, just for today, I am grateful that I can identify with others today. I will listen as they share their experience, and I will share mine with them. And that's beautiful, guys. And the thing is, guys, when you start really working a recovery program and you start building relationships in recovery, it's not just at meetings. if you're working your program and you're following the suggestions, you get other members' phone numbers. You use them not only in crisis, but to build relationships. And that's something I've done. And it took a while. In the early days, I felt the same thing, isolation, felt like nobody was going to accept me. But I kept coming, and just little by little, coming out of my shell. And as I did, I found my tribe, and that's the best feeling in the world. I remember thinking early on, I read that or heard that in a suggestion or somewhere in a meeting, and even sitting in a room full of people, I still felt pretty isolated, and I had hope that, yeah, maybe someday, but I wasn't sure it could happen for me. That's the disease of addiction. We all think we're terminally unique, just like the reading says. But we keep coming, and little by little, you don't know who it is you are. When you first walk into a meeting, you never know which one of those members may end up being one of your best friends. For me, I can identify and share experience and just understand anything anybody else is going through, because I've been there, and I give them hope. I share their struggles, and we just get to know each other is what I'm trying to say. So now, over the course of 15 months, today being Easter the 5th, 2 more days. So Tuesday, I'll have 15 months of continuous sobriety. Because I've followed the programs and followed the suggestions, and I've shared my phone number. When I get up this morning and I was leaving the gym, I'm like, you know what? It's Easter. Let me just wish Happy Easter to some of the people in my members, some of the members of my community. And as I'm going through, I realize I'm talking to 40 or 50 people from my recovery meetings on a regular basis. So I end up not leaving for Easter dinner for about 2 hours late, because I was just, boom, chopping it up with some friends in recovery and wishing them a happy Easter and finding out what they're doing, making plans to go to meetings together this week. Like, it's beautiful, guys. It is a great feeling to feel welcomed, to know that you can identify and others can identify with you, and that they welcome you in and they want to support you and you want to support them. You all just want to be part of the same crowd. I love recovery. There's so many different gifts to this program, but having a whole second community that I'd never experienced before is a beautiful gift. Further, working my program, I'm proud of who I am today, so I don't feel any anxiety when I'm invited to a function with my family. I no longer feel like they're just throwing me an olive branch and just throwing out an invitation. No, I understand. These people are excited to see me. They love what I'm doing. They love what I share, what I bring to the table. And like, I walked in that house today, and this is like extended family, not even my direct family. My brothers and my nieces, nephews, of course, they come up, love, happy to see me. But even all these other people whose house I was at know who I am, and they were excited to see me. And I love that family. These are some of the nicest people I've ever met, and they're my family. We had an absolute blast today, guys. But I've done the work. I've worked my program, absolutely. I'll take credit for that. But I've also fast-tracked so many things early on, because for once in my life, I shut my mouth and I opened my ears. I was listening to others. And as I did so, as I started to come up on some of the things like I talk about in the videos, guys, I'm not somebody that remembers my dreams. It's very rare. I remember more of them now than I ever have, but it's still bits and pieces. So 4 or 5 months along, when all of a sudden I started having these crazy drug dreams every night, and typically my go-to would be like, oh no, my recovery's in jeopardy. But no, I go to a meeting and I talk about that, and immediately everybody that's got any length of recovery said, oh yeah, no, you're right on track. We went through the same thing, and don't worry about it. And we made light of it, and they shared their experiences with me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm on the same way. Boom, right? I know I'm okay. I'm right on track, because other people have been through that and they've gone away. And boom, same for me. I might get one here and there, but for a while it was nightly. That's not the case. It was another area that, instead of letting my disease tell me I'm in jeopardy, I'm in trouble, no, I shared with other members and found out that they went through it and they went away, and boom, I knew I could too. And this been the same with so many others. And another thing I noticed, as I was coming up on a year, I've been pretty well known for having a very good disposition, a very good outlook, and like my whole first year of recovery was miraculous. The things that were happening in my life. listening to other members, I realized people let me know that the second year was often a lot harder because the whole fanfare and newness of everybody being proud of it, you're just making that change starts to wear off, and the routine of just living as an adult starts to kick in. The stresses we're not used to start to kick in. So I prepared myself for that, and I've challenged myself again just because of that. Instead of waiting till I got into trouble, I went out and I found my sponsor and I started digging in. And instead of letting myself get isolated and getting complacent, I said, no, I joined more groups. I started doing Zoom meetings. Of course, I stay plugged in because I do my videos every day. I've challenged myself to step up in my workplace. I've saved money so I could buy property. Like, I've challenged myself to continue progressing because that's the thing, guys. We have opportunities, and at some point, you can decide if this is as far as you want to go, or do you want to continue progressing? And that's what I've challenged myself, and I've promised myself. I realized I was able to work my program and look at the totality of my situation in recovery, letting go of the past and saying, not only do I have this beautiful, fresh slate, clean slate, fresh start that I've been given, and that was one of the miracles I was given right off the bat, but I realized I was building things, and momentum was gaining in my favor. So I could either become complacent and say, good, I'm happy with where I'm at, or do I want to take on challenges and start going back to school for general contracting, start putting things together so I can do bigger contracts that are being offered to me? Do I want to continue to step up? Do I want to work with my sponsor and be able to take on sponsees and further plug into my program? Do I want to start organizing group outings with my members to go celebrate with other people and go meet new people in new meetings? That's how I combat the complacency, and I keep miracles coming in my life because I keep stepping up. And that's something I've done really well this whole recovery. I haven't allowed myself to say, okay, boom, I've got this, I'm happy with what I have, let me just enjoy it. And not that I don't enjoy it, I enjoy every day. Like today was one of the just amazing days, right? And most days are good. Not everyone's amazing, but I get to look forward to holidays and know there's always something good coming down the road. Further, I keep challenging myself to dig in further, to learn more, to apply these lessons, to practice these principles in all of my affairs. And I know because I have really well, I continue to see the benefit of them in all of these different areas of my life. And that keeps me plugged in. It keeps me moving forward. It keeps me showing my higher power that I'm paying attention. And I'm grateful. And I'm still able to live in a state of gratitude. Like I was expecting after, from the 12 to 14 month mark, that whole drudgery of the winter and things to slow down and things start to get hard. Well, yeah, I've got more responsibilities I'm taking on. I'm dealing with more adult life. But I'm doing so in gratitude, so I don't have to be susceptible to other pitfalls that other members have managed to get through because they've shared that experience with me. So I've found ways to combat that and divert those problems. Not to say that I don't still deal with situations that come up, because of course I do. I'm building a business. I'm taking on more and more demands. I'm cleaning up the wreckage of my past. But again, because I didn't rush out and do all these things right away when I wasn't ready for them, now I'm ready for them. So boom, the next miracle is going to be putting that behind me in these next couple of months. And it takes a lot of work, but I'm okay with that. I can do a lot of work, and I've challenged myself to continue doing this. And because I have, it's beautiful. But it all starts with me, for once in my life, going into a meeting and just being open, authentic, and honest. Listening, right? And then taking the points and the solutions that others have applied to their lives, applying it to my life instead of my disease telling me, well, that, and that's the thing, guys. I look back at my history, and every time I heard something that worked for somebody else, oh, well, that won't work for me, and I could make up some excuse. If I wanted to, I still could, and that's just an excuse not to try. The only reason I failed in the past is because I didn't try. I didn't take the information that was available to me, and I didn't apply it in my life. I see that today. So I do take in the information. It's one of the reasons I feel so invigorated every time I leave my meeting, because I can, and that's one of the beauties. I was speaking on this last Sunday at another NA meeting. A girl who had a background that couldn't be more night and day different than mine was, yet I could identify with every feeling and every I could apply what she was going through to an area of my life, and I could just identify with her. And I can do that with anybody that speaks. Anybody from a 20-year-old college student to a 70-year-old guy that's been sober for 30 years. I can identify with something anybody says in a meeting. That tells me I'm working my program and I'm paying attention to the things. And I found a love for every member. Instead of seeing somebody that chronically relapses as, no, there's somebody that needs help. And I will offer help. Now, again, I will also put up my boundaries when if they're not willing to take the help, then that's okay. They're not ready. And I'll just continue to suggest following a program. What is it you're not doing? And that's the beauty of it, guys. Like, I don't have to get into arguments with people if I have a disagreement with them, because I understand it takes all different types, and I can appreciate even people who are drastically different than I am, who in my past I would be like, oh, I can't stand this person. No, I see that they're in there staying clean despite of whatever's going on in their life, and I applaud them and I love them for that. I understand that just because somebody isn't exactly like me, they bring something else to the table that I don't bring to the table. That's the beauty of working a program, guys. We go in there not to character assassinate and certainly not to do any harm. And when you even if you use that as your baseline, if you keep doing that, you're going to start to find ways to identify with people. And identifying with others is where we find the solution. If you don't think somebody has anything to offer you, then you're only robbing yourself. You're not hurting them. You're robbing, I hope you're not hurting them, but you're only robbing yourself from information that may just save your life or give you a leg up in another situation. This program has everything available to you, but it's a matter of how much you're willing to put in, how much you're willing to identify, and how much you're willing to change. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. For me, I was able to identify with everybody, and I'm willing to change everything that's not beautiful in my life, and that gives me opportunity to make it beautiful. Not saying it's perfect, it's nowhere near close to 100% beautiful, but it continues to get closer and closer every day because I continue to work my program every day. Guys, happy Easter, everybody. Hope everybody had a beautiful, fantastic holiday. Hope everybody's being safe and responsible. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.